This video is sponsored by Hunting Clash. The NFL is no stranger to incredible athletes, dudes who can jump out of the roof, guys who can fly down the field, and then there are quarterbacks. Out of all the positions in the league, quarterbacks have the widest gap in terms of pure athleticism. There's guys as fast as receivers, and then there's others slower than linemen. So I thought it would be fun to simply rank the starting quarterbacks in the NFL solely based on their ability to run. Today will be part 1, where we will cover just the AFC. And we will begin by starting at the very bottom, in D tier. When these guys are forced to run, defenders' eyes light up, like a hunter who's scoped in on their unsuspecting prey. Speaking of hunting, the mobile game Hunting Clash offers breathtaking hunting grounds across the world. Hunting Clash offers a variety of weapons to choose from, and over 100 different animals to hunt. There are events on a weekly basis to discover and take you on new adventures. And if you're competitive like me, the player versus player matchups via duels and championships can give you that rush of adrenaline you're looking for. The best part is Hunting Clash is free to play and available on both iOS and Android. Click the link in the description to download the game and help support the channel. To kick this thing off, let's start at the very bottom in D tier. D tier represents quarterbacks whose entire game relies on their passing ability. Running the ball only happens if it's wide open. Only one AFC quarterback resides here, a guy who has reached the point where fans of the team he plays for even agree it's time to retire. Ben Roethlisberger has never been particularly fast, but now that he's 39 and 240 pounds, he simply cannot accelerate away from defensive linemen, and his top-end speed has to be among the slowest of any position in the league. Ben really struggles to keep plays alive since he can't escape the pocket. His longest run going back to even last season was only 8 yards, and it took the parting of the Red Sea for Ben to get a first down scramble. Okay, now that we've covered the slowest quarterback in the AFC, let's move up to C tier. Although these guys won't have a lot of designed runs called for them, they at least have some ability to scramble out of the pocket and pick up first downs when needed. Defenses aren't afraid of their rushing ability quite yet. First is Mac Jones. The tape on Jones thus far in his NFL career is limited. But even dating back to his time at Alabama, he certainly wasn't known for his scrambling ability, as you can see with his stats. Even though he has more quickness and open field speed than Big Ben, he's not going to make many NFL defenders miss either. Next up is Baker Mayfield. Although Baker will surprise you with a nice move or two here and there, for the most part, he lacks the shiftiness and elusiveness to evade defenders in the open field. Like this play versus the Vikings as an example. Instead of hitting this open man on third down, he tried to juke past the defender and failed. Another similar type runner to Baker is Derek Carr. Like Baker, Carr is enough of an instinctual runner to pick up some yards here and there, possessing enough quickness and speed to get the job done. Both quarterbacks will even put their body on the line from time to time. Although this does get the fans and sideline fired up, this style of running can get you in trouble, like you see here.
Penalty marker thrown, Carr trying to dive for that first down marker and took an absolute shot.
The problem is that Carr lacks either the open field speed to get to the sticks or the size to run him over, and that's why he's in C tier. Last up, we have Joe Burrow. Burrow might be the fastest straight line runner in this group, but even he will be the first to tell you that he is limited as an athlete. He lacks elusiveness and has to slow down to make cuts. Ironically enough, his first career touchdown was his longest of his career, and since then, he's hardly had any 10+ yard rushes. Also, to throw him in here, Zach Wilson seems to move like Johnny Manziel. He's a decent scrambler, but is held back by his top-end speed. We also just haven't seen enough of him in the NFL to get a great analysis. So, through the first 2 tiers, we've had 5 dudes who really don't scare you as runners. But now, we move on up to B tier. This is where defenses start to get a headache. These quarterbacks can evade defenders both behind the line of scrimmage and even in the open field from time to time. The thing that doesn't make them higher is they still lack that wow factor. Up first, we have Patrick Mahomes. The first thing that stands out is his ability to make plays in chaos. In the classic scramble drill, he can change direction behind the line of scrimmage good enough to evade rushers. He also possesses a suddenness and burst to make defenders miss occasionally. The thing is, he's not exactly explosive or fast by any means. And the perfect play to represent this is a scramble that happened against the Titans in the playoffs. You wouldn't label these initial moves fast twitch or explosive, but they do enough to evade the defenders. Then after this DB initiates contact at the 6-yard line, the sheer size of Mahomes allows him to fight to the end zone, and overall, it's an amazing play. Although I do think that this comment and its reply sum it up well. In the same division, Teddy Bridgewater also lands in B tier. With his slight frame, Bridgewater is not breaking any tackles or running defenders over, but he does show off some decent shiftiness on this run back in 2020. He also had a Derek Carr-esque run later in that game.
Himself, Bridgewater diving, and he's there! Unbelievable!
The knock on him, other than his size, is a lack of explosiveness or open field speed, comparable to Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr. Also in the AFC West, Justin Herbert has shown off his wheels a few times. Because of his height and long stride length, he covers ground in a hurry. This is particularly effective in designed rollouts. It allowed him to score on this play. Now, he does lack elusiveness and that initial burst out of the pocket, which is why he's hardly scrambled since he became the starter last season. Another young and tall quarterback in this tier is Trevor Lawrence. Because he is a rookie, we haven't seen too many plays made by him as a runner in the NFL. Despite this, the move he made against the Bengals right here is really what got me. With his height, I was pretty surprised to see him make such a nice juke. And going back to what we saw in college with his open field speed, Lawrence has serious A-tier potential. We will just have to wait and see. From the same division as the Jags quarterback, Ryan Tannehill has the fastest recorded 40 of anyone in this video thus far. This is evident when he does bootlegs. He can pick up chunks of yards in a hurry. What holds him back as a runner is his elusiveness. He doesn't possess much ability to make a defender miss in the open field, which is why he's not higher on this list. Another AFC South quarterback that lands here is Carson Wentz. Like Patrick Mahomes, his size allows him to shake off defenders and pick up first downs. Although he's not overly fast in the open field, he does display enough speed and power to turn a 3-yard run into a 10+ yard gain. Then to finish off this tier, Tua looks like the most explosive quarterback out of the pocket of any of these guys so far. We haven't seen a ton of him running the ball yet, but this game versus the Cardinals back in 2020 showed off what he can do rushing the ball. I do think he is more quick than fast though, considering that his 40 isn't overly impressive. So as you saw, B tier was a clear step up from C tier. But now is where things start to get real serious. We've arrived at A tier. These are the guys who would be listed as athletes instead of quarterbacks on NCAA 14. Those wow moments happen on a consistent basis, and defenses begin struggling to game plan for this element of their game.
Taylor wants to keep it himself, and he's got the first down. Still going. Tyrod Taylor at the 35, dancing his way inside the 30. What a run!
Tyrod Taylor, and yes, that is how you pronounce his name, is a game changer with his running ability. I chose to show some older highlights due to him not being on the field often in recent years. But when he's healthy, Tyrod has shown that he can still move. He's the first quarterback on this list to have a sub 4.6 40. And it shows on this play. The only other quarterback in this tier is a one-of-a-kind type of athlete. That would be the mighty Josh Allen. Allen's about the last quarterback a defender would want to take head-on. His 6'5", 235+ pound frame allows him to power through linebackers and defensive backs. When you combine that with his open field speed and surprising elusiveness, he's a nightmare for defensive coordinators. Even when a quarterback's sneak seems to fail miserably, he does this.
On the snap. picks it up, and he's still going. Look at Josh Allen.
Oh my goodness.
Whether it's 3rd and long or 4th and goal at the 1, Josh Allen is an absolute weapon. But despite the type of plays that we saw from the A-tier runners, there's really no comparison when we move to S-tier. There's only one quarterback that resides here, and he's the only one that you could put at punt returner and feel good about it. He's one of the greatest athletes that we've ever seen in terms of what he can do with the ball. Of course, I'm talking about Lamar Jackson. This is what's so crazy about the difference in quarterback athleticism that we have in the NFL. For some of these guys, I had to scrub through multiple random games over the last 2 years just to find a run or two. And then when I looked up Lamar Jackson rushing highlights on YouTube, I literally found a 30-minute cut-up of just his rushing highlights last season.
Jackson nearly bobbled his snap. And running, and Jackson is going to get the first down and more. Still elusive and finally falls down.
Lamar Jackson moves like an elite-level receiver. With that 4.3 speed, the stopping on a dime, the making something literally out of nothing, it's unrivaled. I'll use this play versus the Texans in 2020 as an example. Let's pause right here. 9 out of 10 quarterbacks are screwed in this situation. They're gonna take a sack. Maybe a guy like Josh Allen can make the first guy miss somehow and come up with a first down. That would be a highlight-worthy run. This is what Lamar does.
Uh-oh. That's fake off the stutter step. Lamar Jackson. Jackson's still going. Oh, remarkable.
That ability to turn nothing into something makes him the most dynamic player in the game. It's so frustrating for opposing fans because you know those huge chunk runs are coming. And even when a defense seems to do everything right, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it.
Here's a 2nd down and 3. Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh! He broke his ankles. Now he's got an entourage. And he's got a touchdown. He is Houdini. What a play.
And to wrap up this video, I want to give one last shout out to Hunting Clash for the sponsor. I stated previously what Hunting Clash has to offer as a mobile game, but if you're looking for something to just zone out and enjoy, this is it. It's got a nice leveling up system, a leaderboard to track how well you're doing worldwide, and it's pretty relaxing with its soundtrack. Again, the link is in the description down below. Thanks for watching.